That's a good question, Bruce. One I really admire and I get on very well with him for a start off, and that's Brad Scott. I admire the way he's done it. I think he's worn a lot of criticism over the last couple of seasons in his side that it's faded, and you know the general perception is it's the coach that loses the games and the players that win games. So he's copped a fair bit. I like the way he's been able to be highly passionate, the way he goes about it. So I know that the North Melbourne side have got into a position that they weren't and haven't been in for the last couple of seasons. So that makes it a dangerous animal because they sniff finals. So for us, we are out of the finals. But in this room that we spoke just half hour ago, it's a commitment to our members, a commitment to excellence, that we cannot just make an assumption out of the finals, forget about it, train up for next year. All we do now is for next year, but all we do now is also for this week for our members we've got 47,723. We're down 2,500 from last year for a variety of reasons. But we want to give those members every right to think they're playing for keeps. So we will marry off against North Melbourne. We know they're a form side. We know they've got some confidence. I don't think we really lack confidence. I think there's been times during the year we have. We've been highly competitive against Sydney for half a go, maybe three quarters, and we got blown away by a very, very good football side that's hard to stop when they get momentum up, particularly when Franklin cuts loose and they dominate the centre square. So our job is to address the previous week or a collection of weeks that show an area that we've been down in, and try to make sure that the following week, which is North Melbourne, that we come out the other side and say, well, look, let's marry up those figures and say, look, we have actually achieved. Because the challenge for us on a week-to-week basis is to meet all those little requirements. And the great thing about it is that it's not going to be one player and it won't be one division. So the challenge is both offensively, defensively, our stoppages, our kick-ins, our protection of kick-ins, our ruck work, etc., etc. So every player takes that on board. Interesting enough, I thought we had to restore confidence, particularly after the Essendon game. We really got a belting after Essendon. I reckon that we were pretty flat very flat after the game against Brisbane, and we met that challenge by we played. Look, there are some media things that you do read, and the suggestion I'm mad because I've said that we're playing better football than we did last year. There are a lot of games this year that we have played comprehensively better than last year. Comprehensively better. We never challenged the top sides last year. We tried to, we didn't. This year, I thought we really challenged Hawthorn. We massively challenged Geelong. We've played and beaten Adelaide, who were in there, but they weren't in it at the time. I feel very confident to say that first half of football, regardless of how Sydney may have thought they played, I thought we forced them to have to play deep and hard football to beat us in that third quarter, and they did. I'll take nothing away from them. So it's not always results on how you think you're going. It's the effort, and I thought, look, we haven't had Cruiser all year, no excuse because everyone gets injuries, but he's pretty fundamental to us because he supplies forward line and ruck pressure, but our consistency of our player group is that you live and die by players playing together for a length of time. And if they play together for a length of time, they build up that confidence. We haven't had that luxury. Now, a lot of sub-clubs haven't, so I'm not here to say that we're Robinson Crusoe, but in a side like us, we need consistency of players playing together. That hasn't happened. But the fallout, well, the upside to that is we've played Buckley, we've played Casbolt, Doherty, or Menzel was always going to come through, we thought. We've played Johnson. We're toying with it, and certainly not going to be privy to the side right now. But we've got a meeting after this, and we may experiment further with a player that we think can help us out this week. So it's not, to me, it's not all doom and gloom. It's going forward, and the thing about it is I don't have I'm not restoring confidence this week like I had to a few weeks ago. I think they, the player group, know that we have to be better, and that's the challenge, and I love that.
Wade and Carlton in the mix for this?
Yeah, they are.
And mental shoulder?
He'll play. I think, you know, opinions have never really bothered me. I think people can make opinions. I think that when you, and I did read that, I think when you make that assessment, you make it from outside. So therefore I can't criticise the opinion because it's made from outside. The reality is this, it's interesting that you say that one, because Chris came over to me yesterday, and we don't often talk about that sort of stuff that happens outside, but he laughed it off because he knows that would never be him. It could not possibly be him. I know the player. He knows his own capabilities. It's not a matter of can he play that role. It's not style for him, and his body's not equipped for it. First and foremost, to that type of player, you've got to be very durable. You've got to be ready for a pretty big whacking. You're going to get whacked, and you're going to get hit repeatedly by fairly by the opposition, who are going to take you away from the tagger. Like Carazzo, he could count 20 times that he gets cleaned up through a match from not his direct opponent, but someone else. I mean, Juddy, if you want a quick retirement, that's one way, because his body won't hold up to that, and that's unfair. You've got to understand that, and that's. I've never heard him really go at an article before, but he was just all over that when he just said, "No, it's just so ridiculous." You know.